Hi, I'm Kamil. I'm working in Apify, so I'm local here, and I'm working as a platform infrastructure engineer. And I would like to give you some picture about our journey, how we found our best observability platform, and maybe obvious question on the beginning: how many of you know Shopify? Okay, how many of you knows the product Shopify or use it for your needs? Okay, um, not much hands. So we introduce you the Shopify. We are developing the cloud-based web scraping and browser automation platform, which means that you can use it for getting data almost from every website, or not just scraping the data, but you can use it also for your automation task. It doesn't need to be related to the web. And we also developing libraries uh, and SDK for the creating the tool which you can run on the platform. The tool is called Actor. Is it okay? Go. Okay. I just expected that you switch off the sound. And we are offering more than 3,000 prepared solution on the platform. So basically, if you have almost any use case, you probably found it prepared solution by by some developer, but you can even develop your own if you want. And little bit how it's working. Basically, if you log into the platform, you can choose the pre-built tools from another developers, or you can of course develop your own. And the platform itself is like a container platform, which basically these are Docker images with the defined input. You run your tool, your Docker image or Docker container. It will give you some output, and it will be saved somewhere in the platform for the further processing, for example. This process, let's jump into the number. This process is happening on the platform uh, on average 20 times per second. So we are starting like 1.5 million containers per day. So it's really big. Platform itself has about 25,000 active users. Around half of it is other developers, which are using the platform for their business. And for example, our API handles on average 4,000 requests per second. Sometimes it in the peaks goes to the double that number to the 8,000. So let's put some numbers about infrastructure, because they are of course important for the rest of the presentation. So we are using the EC2 instances, and we are using around 6,000 EC2 hours per day, which means in our case that we are using around 250 instances, because we are using the larger instances, 2x large and 4x large, with the 32 or 64 gigabytes of RAM. So we are not using the smaller ones. These instances are distributed to the EKS and also to the standalone workers. And we also are using the native AWS services like Lambdas. We have around 170 Lambdas and other services, load balancers, DynamoDBs, but they are not much important for today's presentation. And if we go further into the observability, because it's the topic of this talk, we are producing 130 gigabytes of logs every day. And the most important number for this presentation is that we have around 6 million active time series in metrics. And time series is the unique combination of the metric itself and the labels. Sometimes the peaks goes to 10 millions. So we need to handle this amount of metrics. And let's talk about beginning, because of course everyone must begin somewhere, and our approach was always start manually, automate later, and iterate. And our beginnings were like no monitoring at all. Of course, it was startup, couple of servers, but after 1 year we decided to enable centralized logging, and we didn't use Mesmo on the beginning. LogDNA, the name of the Mesmo before, but we used different service. But we very quickly migrate to the Mesmo. Then after a couple of months or weeks, months of years, I think it was like 2 years after the Mesmo, we started to use Neuralink platform for the infrastructure monitoring. And after that, we needed also to centralize notifications. So we deployed or started to use the PagerDuty. And that was the beginning. This is how the architecture looks today, or the platform looks today. As you can see, the Mesmo, Neuralink, and PagerDuty is like in the center. We also use Sentry, many service, and all of this is connected basically together, and it is sending notifications. As a notification target, we are using Slack, emails, the Wi-Fi phones, and the alerts or metrics are produced by these services in AWS mostly. But this architecture is not actual. It was valid for the last year because, as I said before, we start manually, automate later, and iterate. So we did some review of each component, which is enough for us still. And we find out that Mesmo is okay. We use it. It's working. PagerDuty is okay. Sentry is okay. Maybe we will hear another opinion in the next talk. But we focus on the New Relic because we realize that it doesn't satisfy our needs completely. So we decided to say bye-bye New Relic and replace it with something else. I must say on the beginning that New Relic was great in the beginning. It worked out of the box, basically. No much hard configuration, just enable start sending metrics, and it worked. But after some time, we found some caveats that we should fix. So we have some motivation, and first of it was the lack of proper deployment. As I said before, start manually. So everything was manually configured. There was no automation, no Terraform. So we needed to start from the scratch again. Then we, as an open company, we prefer open standards and communities because we also creating the communities around our platform. We also realize that if we use standards, it's better for us, for example, in future hiring, because there is a bigger probability that you will hire people which are using the standardized software or standardized libraries than something what is proprietary. New Relic was also a little bit limited for our use case. For example, it has only the data sampling, and so basically the debugging was very painful sometimes, because if you zoom in into some matrix, you didn't see the peaks, you didn't see all the data, and our developers need to see everything, because sometimes you need to solve some problem, of course. And the customization wasn't great. I also mentioned the bad UX. I'm not sure who saw New Relic, but it seems like the small tiny thing. But for example, our developers, when they debugging something and they found some ID of the user which is behaving suspicious, they need to copy this ID from the UX, from the New Relic, but it's not possible. They would need to show the source code of the page and find the UD in the source code, and it's tiny little thing. But if you are doing this couple of times every day, it's really annoying, right? And of course, it was a price. On the beginning, it was okay, but New Relic changed the price model a couple of times. We grew into the big platform, and we reached the price which was not ideal for us. So we had the motivation, but we were also aware of a couple of challenges, because if you replacing this whole really big platform after a couple of years, there are challenges. One of it was that we needed to start from a scratch. We need to review what we sent to this platform. We need to review almost every metric, how to alert it, if it's needed. We didn't want to create alert fatigue. We didn't want to send a lot of alerts to developers. So we need to be very careful. We need to find, as I said before, New Relic was created, configured manually, and after a couple of years, we didn't know who created this dashboard, what is it, who is using it. So we needed to find ownership of the specific part of that platform. We had also a couple of customized components, exporters of the metrics. So we had to create the new version for them, and we needed to be also prepared for the adoption for the developers, because if you change the system after a couple of years, the UI is different, system behavior is different. So we need to prepare some adoption guidelines for the developers to make it easy for them. And of course, buzzwords like stability, versatility, and future-proof for the next usage, and scalability. That's of course needed also. Our platform is very dynamic. It's not like a constant load. It usually goes up and down, and the differences are very high. So we need also support this scalability, because we didn't want to just set up some platform which is not scalable, and it's like just cost money, and which are not used. Yeah, cost money which are not used. So we need also scalability. So after this decision, we found some platform which we can try. Probably it will not be a surprise for you. We found Grafana, and so first steps are led to the Grafana cloud. So let's try, because we of course prefer managed services. You don't need to maintain anything. We have a lot of work here, so We don't want to add another word. And yeah, so we did a Grafana Cloud exploration. And what we found is, okay, it's industry standard basically. It's the whole Grafana Prometheus architecture today is the most used probably. It's open source. It has great customization, great community around it, a lot of integrations you can put into the Grafana. So everything is perfect for us. Better UX. It's simple. You can copy the ID directly. So it's working like a charm. But something is there what we don't like. Can you guess? Of course, the price. In our load, we calculated that it would cost like between $60,000 to $80,000 per month, which is around 80% of the whole platform of the Opify platform. And we had some expectation that it would be nice to have monitoring platform on the price like 1/10 of our platform. So around 10,000 it will be perfect. So we did another decision, but another decision goes again to Grafana, but we decided to build the Grafana by ourselves, and it should work. We calculated that it should cost 10 times less than the managed one. Everything is perfect on the Grafana. Everything is green, so we went for it, and we built the whole platform for us. And the result is that we used the whole Grafana stack. We didn't use Thanos for long-term storage, but we use the whole Grafana stack. So Grafana for the visualization, Grafana Mimir for the long-term storage, Grafana Loki for the log events on the platform itself. We didn't migrate the orgs of the Opify platform to the Loki. We also deployed the Tempo, Grafana Tempo for traces. Of course, Prometheus and Alert Manager for the metrics and alerts. And we also deployed the Open Telemetry Collector on the Opify platform side to export the traces and metrics to the observability system. These results give us a better feature set for less money. I can say it now because we are using it, so the result is good, and we are using it, of course. So we don't have data sampling. We have data every 60 seconds. There is a great customization. Lot of integrations we are using. Also integrations to the Mesmo, integrations to the AWS, of course. And of course, when we deploy it, we did it properly. So we follow the full infrastructure as a code approach. And also we have staging covered. Before, when we had the New Relic, we didn't have staging. So now we have much more data in the platform for less money. I can give you the exact number on the end. And also we did try to do better developer experience for our developers. So that's why also we are using the infrastructure as a code approach for the deployment of the platform. And also we are using another component, because this is the whole platform. It's not like one Helm chart. It's the whole platform deployed in different AWS account. It is all networking. It is all VPN. And it has also all other components which are for the creativity on the front, with CD for application development. We have control, other and deployment is in the AWS. In the separate EKS cluster, the size of the cluster is around 40 nodes, which does nothing because they can be different size, of course, but we are using almost 1 terabyte gigabytes of memory and 250 CPUs in these instances. We also wanted to use ARM, so everything what can run on the ARM, it's running on the ARM nodes. It's around 80% of the nodes. And the whole deployment, as I said before, it's following the infrastructure as a code approach. So we are using Terraform and Terramate. For the applications itself, we are using Argo. And for the CI/CD, we are using GitHub Actions. And also, there is a bonus. When we did the automation, we decided to automate also the PagerDuty deployment, because before it was also just manually created, and we did the automation, automated deployment for the PagerDuty services and integrations, and we use it also Terraform. And it's built for our developers. So we wanted to make the transition easy for them. So we are using GitOps for making changes in the platform. So every developer can create own dashboard or own alerts, and they are following the GitOps. So basically, they create the YAML file and just put this file into the Git repository, and it will be synchronized with Argo. We also create the documentation site where there are a lot of code snippets for dashboards, code snippets for alert rules, code snippets for the open telemetry configuration in the applications. So we must prepare this because we have around 50 developers here, and it must be prepared before the transition. So we needed to create also this documentation side. And also, to make it even easier for them, we created adoption dashboards for them, because sometimes they are familiar with they have muscle memory, what in the New Relic, where to click to find their what they want. But in the Grafana, it's of course different. So we created we call it master dashboard, where they have like list of the components in the Apify, and they just find it's visible. Not really. They just find the component what they are developing, and just the related dashboards to it. So they can easily check the cost for that component itself. They can easily check bot behavior. If there is a application performance monitoring, they can just access by this. It's very simple, but it's very helpful for them. The documentation side looks on the right, is the visible to map, but they have a lot of materials to follow to create whole dashboards and for example alerts. But it's not the end, of course, because we needed to use some compromises. For example, one of it was that we needed to switch to one availability zone in the AWS. On the beginning, we used 3 for the best high availability platform, but we had basically 2 choices: switch to one AZ availability zone or sample data, because of the price. If we use 3 availability zones in that amount of data we have in this architecture, Bimerloki, you are paying a lot of $1,000 for the replication between these 3 zones. So we switched to the one availability zone. We chose different zone than our platform uses, and it's still working. It's more than 6 months and no outage at all, so that's fine. We also switch back to on-demand instances, even they are of course much more expensive. But in Optify, we are using spots almost everywhere. Almost the whole Optify platform is running on spots. We are able to use them. We learn how to use them. We are able to handle this termination signal, and we are able to migrate everything from one spot to another spot. But in this case, Mimir and Loki doesn't like spots, so we needed to switch to on-demand with the saving plan, which is almost the same price as a spot, but little bit more expensive, of course. The last one was that we realized that if we send the full traces to the platform from the application, the prices go to the heaven. So we found that if we aggregate the traces on the platform side and just send the aggregated traces or aggregated metrics to the platform, it's enough. There wasn't big value for what it cost. So for now, it's enough that we are aggregating traces, and developers are happy and we are also happy. Of course, there are some risks, there are some risks. You build it, you run it. It's not mean like a risk, but in our case, it is, because we must maintain two platforms now. So this is the risk for us. We have more work than before. Probably we don't have. We cannot sometimes focus on some improvements on the platform, but because we have to maintain the monitoring platform itself. But the advantage of this is that we can get the faster feedback from the user, and we can have fast reaction to it. So if user has problem, just we can fix it very very easily. So sometimes it's a risk, sometimes it's not. Second risk is that we started to think how to monitor our monitoring platform. Should we create another monitoring platform to monitor our monitoring platform? It's like infinity circle. Of course not. It's not hard. It just we didn't stop to use the New Relic at all. We just using the synthetic shift from the New Relic to check our platform, and also we implemented proactive health checking of that platform, that our platform is sending testing alerts to some managed service that it's informing that it's alive. So we have both direction health check. And the costs are also risks. So we deploy the cost analyzer tool, and we have on the daily basis information and prediction of the price for the platform. And fuck ups, of course, they were there. Also, shit happens, yeah. Like we saw it before. On the beginning, we wanted to do the best, so we wanted to enable every feature. So 3 availability zones, traces, and we wanted to show to our developers that what we are able to do, what we are able to deliver for them. So we enable almost everything. And from the chart, you can see what was the fuck up? Of course, it was the price, because when you enable everything, it goes like 2 times more than invoice for the New Relic. Oh, not 2 times. It's a little bit less. So we decided to limit a little bit the functionality, and now we are on the price, which is I think which is okay for us. It's still under that limit, under that ratio, 1/10 of our costs for the whole platform. And another fuck up was probably longer migration than we expected. The platform itself was prepared, and it can be seen from the chart. It was prepared on the beginning of the summer, basically, in the July. And it took us like 6 months to migrate everything. It was a lot of rounds, talks to the teams, a lot of preparation, what needs to be implemented on the platform side. And there were also more priority projects on the infrastructure, like audits and etc. And they always slows down a little bit the development. So it took like 6 months to be both platforms, New Relic and also the Grafana, run in parallel in the time. So we paid for both of them. So yeah, these were very good fuck-ups. Okay, we are going to the end. So what we learned? First thing is very known, of course. Less is more. In this big transition, it's maybe better to deploy the platform with the feature only what the developers needs, not enable everything, because it will cost you the time, cost you the money, and you can add them later, of course. So if you need to migrate something what is cost a lot of money to something else, maybe just deploy the basics if it's enough for you, and iterate. Yeah, just deploy it and iterate. And the second one is better time estimation for the future project. I found that first thought about the migration from the New Relic away was 2 years ago. It was the first document itself. And the migration took around, as I said, 6 months. So maybe think about also the size of the project, and put some reserve there, because yeah, shit happens. So get reserve into the time estimation. Is it the end? The end of the presentation, yes. But it's not the end for us. We are still finding the improvements, of course. We have planned preview for every team who use it, that you use the platform, and we will gather the feedbacks, and then we will probably implement some improvements or fixes and etc. And also, as we have much more data than before, we have also much more alerts. I think we handled the alerts, the critical ones. They are not, I mean, there are not much more alerts than before, but we have also alerts for the context, that they have valuable information for us. And these are it's like 100, 200 alerts per day, and you cannot greet every alert, right? So we are trying to involve AI also. I couldn't miss this word today. AI is everywhere. So we have POC for the but I give you the list of the alerts to the AI, and it will produce the report with the suggestions, basically. And just send the report to the Slack, and you can just read this report once time per week, for example, and to see if there is something what you can improve. And that's all. Now it's time for discussion. Questions. Is the Slido working?
Yes, Slido is working. We are not only one who has some technical issues because Slido has also technical issues. We got the email, but it's working right now. If not, so try to try it more times. It will have work. So there are some questions. So yeah.
Okay. Anonymous. Any future plans when this stops being sufficient? It's hard to say. What does it stops being sufficient? The platform has a lot of reserve. It can scale up very easily now. And I think we are prepared for the traffic at least 3 times bigger than now. So we have total reserve. Basically, we have just limit for the cost. So if we still are in the ratio 1/10 of the Amplify platform cost, it's fine. We can scale up. Had you kept migrated the data when switching the stack? Probably kept the data from Neuralink. And as I said before, both platforms were running for 6 months in parallel. So the data for 6 months were in both platforms, so there wasn't need to kept or migrate the data from one platform to another. Any thoughts about using OTel for open technology for logs as well? No. Good question, and maybe catch me somewhere because in that time I wasn't here. So in the time of the decision, but I can totally find the answer for it. What's your allowed on-call policy? Yeah, I mean the well-known hour fatigue, collecting code issues and never resolving them. So we have on-call. A couple of people are taking on-call 24/7. And if there is some incident, we have the policy like that immediately you should create a postmortem of the incident for the future use. So if there is an incident which has not happened before, you create a postmortem to for your colleagues and also for, of course, for the future use. I hope that it was the answer. Do you have anything to share what developer experience and platformization mean for Apify? Cost and time saving in different areas? Feeling is okay, not hard data. Didn't understand. Is it the question from this? From or from the online stream? Okay. Not yet, as the platform is used like for, let's say, 2-3 months only. So, and we didn't gather the feedback right now, so we don't have hard data now. Sorry. So I can skip your question. Next step is to spin up Backstage IO instead of adoption dashboard. Okay. Backstage IO I don't have experience with it though. Sorry. When postmortem notes about late start will be shared? That's a good question, and I'm afraid that I can't answer. Review deal bit out of order time samples, yes, in the mirror. And we are dealing it right now, and we still didn't solve it completely. So currently it's in our focus, yes. We still didn't enable the window. Yeah, it's the last option, we know, but we just wanted to find the root cause. Why? That's yeah, exactly. But it's the something what we are currently solving. What about AWS monitoring? The price was higher. E- I think we just didn't. It didn't. We weren't satisfied with it. I cannot. I can't answer now. That's all. What would you do differently now? That's this thing I mentioned in the lessons learned. Probably we better focus on the beginning for the basics and then extending the functionality after the migration is done. And probably maybe we would feel better about the time estimation. We just didn't imagine how much work is it to migrate this system to another one. Hmm. Have you hired new people? No. Okay, so I will. Have you hired new people because of this migration? If yes, when you say it is cheaper, do you count the salary into that? Uh, no, we didn't hire new people. Well, basically, some people was just like one leave, one came. So the number of people was the same. Was this the cost of Fox compared to the total of the observability platform? Uh, Cost for the Mesmo probably. There is me. Um, I think the cost for the Mesmo is a little bit less than for the platform itself. Now I don't have hard data now, but I can find it. If what? How many? So it's around 2,000. Yeah, it's around $2,000 per month. Thank you. You mentioned that you are not using Thanos. What is the reason? We just wanted to have when we decide to have Grafana, we wanted to have Grafana natively. So we did some comparison, and Mimir was like a better choice for us in the time. So yeah. Do you use Prometheus Federation to collect metrics from multiple EKS? Any issues with this solution? Uh, we don't. No. You said Lockheed doesn't like spuds. Can you please expand why? Because we have Mimir and Lockheed deployed in that microservice architecture, and the architectures were similar, right? Or Lockheed and Mimir, they are using the hash ring for the creation of that we by the communication between ingesters. And when you terminate the spot, the hash ring is broken, and then it takes some time to restore it. And we just didn't have good experience with it. A lot of a lot of stateful set was broken, and on-demand works much better. And with the savings plan, it's like the price is very similar. It's a little bit more expensive, but not as much as as solving the problems with Spotly again and again. 30 days. What retention of data do you keep? Are you having better granularity in near history and worse in far history or not? No, we didn't do any aggregation. We just keeping the 30 days of the data. Okay, thank you very much.